According to the U.S. Census Bureau, over 17.8 million children in America, nearly 1 in 4 children live without a biological step or adopted father in the home.
Single motherhood is so abundant right now.
Yeah. Welcome back to the Wilson Brothers channel. I'm Isaac. This is David. We are discussing a topic that hits home for a lot of people out there. Fatherlessness. What is the epidemic surrounding this critical issue in America specifically? And so today we're reacting to Jen. His name is Jen, apparently on YouTube. He does street reaction videos. We'll post his channel in the link below. You can go check out the full video. But we're going to react to this and give you guys some statistics as well as some insight that we've gained in our own lives on the issue of fatherlessness.
Get ready for one of the biggest epidemics in the United States. It gets real.
What do you think a father brings to the table that a mother doesn't?
My mom was she's like the head honcho of the house.
And crime is caused by unwantedness, and abortion reduces unwantedness.
I lived my life for things that my dad wanted me to do.
There really wasn't much I did with my father. He was a workaholic.
My father was an alcoholic.
Again.
Hey Dad, how are you? So today I'm out here and the question I'll be asking is, what is your relationship like with your father?
When I was born, he was still in World War II. Didn't come into my life till I was 3 or 4 years old. Worked 2 jobs. Didn't have much tolerance for kids.
A little bit complicated. If you went to him for advice, he'd be like, yeah, you figure it out.
Are you a father yourself?
I have numerous children, roughly somewhere in between 30 and 45. Because in my 20s, I was a sperm donor.
I'm curious, have you met any of them? Or?
I have not.
That just took a turn that I was not expecting.
I was in the field.
We were so serious looking at this, like fatherlessness, orphans, all these things. And he's like, I was a sperm donor.
My father, he didn't have time for me. And then he's like, well, my father, he just told me to figure stuff out. But I'm a father to 30 to 40 kids
that I don't know.
It's Zach. We have a really good father. I want to keep watching this to get a full view on all these different people from different ages, different backgrounds. How did fatherlessness affect them?
I'm more of a mama's boy for sure. She carries a lot of the emotional weight in my life.
I talk to my dad almost twice a week, but I love my dad. He loves me.
Growing up, it was always I lived my life for things that my dad wanted me to do.
How has that evolved though?
A few years, we weren't really communicating or talking. And so nowadays, he stops and listens to me.
I'm Jim Sexton. I'm a divorce lawyer in New York City. I've been practicing divorce law for about 22 years.
If you don't mind me asking, what was your relationship with your father?
My father was an alcoholic, hardly spoke to me, but never laid hands on me, never abused me. This is a man who had all the men in his wedding party die in Vietnam, lost most of his friends in Vietnam, and then he got sober when my mom died. I finally said to him, listen, I'm done with you. She's dead. We don't have anything left to talk about, you and I. We never talked about this before in an interview.
When 1 in 4 American homes are fatherless, it's clear that it's a growing problem. So Gen Z especially are turning to others for guidance, and some are providing that, but some have capitalized.
For all my young boys out there, you guys want to know why I'm successful? I never took a girl seriously, ever.
So I wanted to explore the impact of the fatherlessness crisis, not only for the next generation, but for past generations as well. But is this crisis just a symptom of a larger problem? And more importantly, how can I overcome my own struggles with my own father? I guess we gon' see. So if feeling unwanted is one cause for why people commit crime, having a present father can only help, especially when most crimes are committed by men. So I wanted to ask the streets on what value a father has. What do you think a father brings to the table that a mother doesn't?
How to fix your car or something, or gardening outside. So we do a lot of the manual tasks together.
I don't know. My mom was she's like the head honcho of the house. And he's there for support. My dad.
Okay.
Okay.
That's the problem right there.
Though
The gender roles are so backwards.
her mother is the head honcho,
Yeah.
and the father is there for support. That is the problem right
it's
there.
the problem.
The father is supposed to be the leader.
Yes.
If the father isn't the leader, the mother will not feel safe in that environment.
Yep.
Therefore, naturally, to protect her kids, she's going to spring up a more masculine side in order to balance that out.
Why do you think, and I'm not speaking for all single mothers.
Correct.
But a lot of single mothers, the reason why they have a lot of issues and anger and resentment and bitterness is because they're having to take on that masculine role to raise their children.
Because the man was a deadbeat.
Because the man was a deadbeat. He left the home. He didn't have any, presence in the house. And as long as you graduate from high school, get a job, right? Have both parents raise you, and you wait until you're married to have children, and just and stick to those traditional values, it's almost impossible to be in poverty.
Most poverty in the United States is because of single households.
Yes.
There are very few people that stay in poverty over a life cycle. And by poverty, we're meaning you're struggling to find food. Because, of course, there's people that, you have lower, middle, upper class. That's never going to change.
Yeah, it's never going to change.
But true poverty is usually when both parents are not in the house.
Yep.
And again, we're speaking to men, so we need to challenge you men. You need to step up, because this is not just a problem. We're not just saying, okay, women are the problem because they're being more domineering. No, the problem is men running away.
Yeah, and
men running away, not taking responsibility, not being a leader in the household is the biggest reason why you have this epidemic of fatherless households. That's the reason why. And if you're a strong leader, a woman will want to partner with you, and she'll feel safe in that environment. It's very important.
Yeah, 1 in 4 households, and imagine this, visualize this. That's enough children that don't have a father to fill up New York City twice and Los Angeles 4 times.
Jeez.
That's the visual.
Was the breadwinner. He's very stable, logical.
Well, it's sort of like, what does a man bring to a relationship? What does a woman bring to the relationship? When you find someone to marry, look at the relationship she has with her father, because that's her role model, and that's the relationship she's going to have with you.
So if the person you choose is not just your spouse, but possibly a future mother or father, fatherlessness doesn't just impact crime, but how people show up in relationships. And so who better to ask than a divorce lawyer about this?
You could be an excellent parent and just not be good at being a spouse. You might be mismatched with your partner. I mean, a lot of people choose their romantic partners between the ages of 18 and 30. Or you may be the type that you grow apart and you become more, dissimilar. I think the more normal reason why fathers are minimized, unintentional second-order effects of the boom in divorce, the boom in how much people work, and the impact that has on their available time for their families. It's a lot of things all at once.
And so whether due to divorce or absence, it's clear husbands and fathers have distinct roles and impacts. Mothers with absent or distant husbands are not only at a higher risk of developing antenatal depression, but fatherless children are also at risk. Girls without fathers are 8 times more likely to have teenage pregnancies, while fatherless boys often exhibit aggression, delinquency, and an increased likelihood of committing a crime. And so oftentimes having a father or not can either set you ahead or set you behind.
Wow.
So backing up what he's saying, 85% of youths in prison come from fatherless homes. 71% of high school dropouts come from fatherless homes. 90% of all homeless and runaway children come from fatherless homes. Nearly 25 million children live without their biological father, and 60% of youth that decide to end it are from fatherless homes.
Wow. And let me speak on the divorce aspect, because a lot of people that are watching this video might say, well, my parents just didn't work out. And that's very sad. We didn't have to live through that. Our parents have been married for 40 some years. So I feel for you with that. But for those fathers out there, if you didn't end up working out with your spouse, you can still be present in your child's lives. Take your daughter on dates. Show her that she is a princess, that she is somebody that is worthy and valuable. That because there's a lot of showings that say a woman, like he said, or a girl will go after a guy that is similar to her father.
Even subconsciously.
Yeah. Most girls that do OnlyFans, that do, pornography, you ask them, kind of like Charlie Kirk with the Whatever podcast video, asked her, what's your relationship like with your father? She's
I don't talk to him.
Don't you see so many problems in society, in our economy? Everything has to do with men not being there, not being present,
not stepping up.
So if you're in a divorce, you can still be there for your kids. That is not an excuse to be a bad father.
Correct.
Divorce lawyer on what impact his alcoholic father had on his life.
The goal, I think, of fatherhood is to move things a little further. Maybe 6-7 months after she passed away, and he called me. I just want to let you know I've quit drinking. Going to AA. And I hung up the phone and I thought, you know what? You should give this guy a win on this. Like, he made progress.
And so we'll come back to the rest of his story, but man, That was inspirational for me to hear. Because as he said, if the purpose of fatherhood is to make progress, it made me think, what role can I play in improving my father and I's relationship? Like, what steps can I take now to move towards a better future, especially when I'm a dad myself? I was beginning to form an idea, but with a lot of things in my mind, from my daddy issues to now, since I'm full-time on growing this channel and our online presence, I was starting to get worried. I wanted to focus on exploring what's exactly causing this crisis.
I think people need to stop having children. They want to have kids as an accessory. It's expensive, and there is a lot of pressure on the man to bring money to the table, and that could be another thing that scares a lot of men.
Lack of strong marriages, the family unit isn't as tight anymore.
That's not what scares men. Children are a blessing. If you don't have the finances to have children, will you ever really?
I had my kid 4 years ago, and I was not financially ready.
But is it the best blessing in your life?
In my entire life. I think that's another mistake people do, is they wait forever hoping everything is perfect. No, the truth is you'll figure it out along the way. And to be honest, having a kid lit a fire under me that I never would have had.
Yeah.
I don't think I would be where I am today if it wasn't for my kid, because when you have a kid, your life changes so dramatically that you want to do everything in your power to give her or him the life that they deserve.
It exposes the selfishness too.
Yeah, exactly. So if you need to wait, if you're 22, you wait some time, but waiting forever, hoping you're in the right situation, never works.
It has somewhat to do with women finding their ground and comfortable with being independent, which I think is a great thing.
And so when asking across generations, there's many reasons. But again, when 1 in 4 American homes are without fathers, and Gen Z are turning into digital father figures, are they at least getting the guidance that they need?
Would you say that the problems that Gen Z are currently experiencing are explained by the fatherlessness crisis?
I do feel like a lack of positive male role models, especially in the media, is an emerging and increasing problem. And we've gone from Mr. Rogers, now we have like Homer Simpson, Peter Griffin, basically clowns for reflection of masculinity, and fathers especially. I know in the UK the Advertising Standards Authority had to actually step in to ban adverts that routinely framed dads as incompetent.
So when this fatherlessness crisis seems like a symptom of a larger problem that's getting worse and worse, why aren't more people talking about it?
Why do you think this topic of male issues have become so polarized? And what impact has that had on being able to hold discourse?
The left have failed them even more so than the right. The right has in some way at least tried to take hold of the conversation, largely through people like Andrew Tate, Fresh and Fit, and who I do not like. They are a symptom of a wider problem, which is how the left have sort of forgotten boys and men. And although there certainly are advantages to being a man, it's a bit more nuanced than that. Men and boys are increasingly conservative anyway, and women and girls are becoming increasingly liberal.
That's exactly right. With 44% of Gen Z women identifying as liberal compared to 25% of Gen Z men, this marks the largest gender gap since polling began in 1998.
The main problem I have is the media. How often do you see a TV show or a movie with a father portrayed in a good light?
No, it's always he's either left the house or he's emotionally, spiritually, and physically abusive.
Well, it's all about how the mother has to be superhuman to take care of the family.
Has to do all the masculine roles.
And again, I applaud women that are strong and have had to do that, because that's a lot. But when everybody growing up is being conditioned to not have any reverence for a father, no respect for a father, fathers are clowns, like he was saying, Homer Simpson, all the Family Guy, father, all of them, you're going to get used to not thinking you need a father.
Well, that's actually why I like the Korean culture so much.
Love it.
Is because they value the father figure. They value the elderly, the people that are older than them. There's a respect there culturally for age and also maturity of you. There's way more fathers in the home in Korea than there is in America.
Yeah, they don't have a single father.
It's because they're not over-sexualizing their culture. The movies are way more appropriate.
When you have a kiss scene, you're like, whoa.
Wow, they actually kissed. And in America, it's just, let's just hop in bed, have a one-night stand, and then let's just keep portraying this toxic masculinity to the world and hoping that it gets solved. And that's not the way to solve it. And Gen Z, can you imagine 44% of Gen Z women are woke liberals, and then the men are 25%? So how does that even work in the dating scene? How are Gen Z men supposed to find a woman that has the same values as them? That's why dating is so freaking tough. You just got to swipe, and hope you get one. It's insane. You're lucky you don't have to date in today's culture.
I am so thankful
Super
I don't have to date now, dude. I don't know how you do it.
I don't.
And the right is capitalizing on that trend. Republican Party candidate Vivek Ramaswamy has supported the importance of the nuclear family and the two-parent household.
Yep.
He has criticized American culture and government for pushing anti-family incentives.
Let's go.
And many right-wing influencers and organizations are following suit. But if we're going to look at it both sides, is this an attempt by the right to pander male voters, similar to how the left has targeted women, according to George? Whatever be the case, clear that the issue is more complex with numerous factors rather than the simplistic perspectives of just blaming women. So the most important question is, what is the solution?
As a divorce lawyer, how do we fix this fatherlessness crisis?
From a legal level, people learn through fear and greed. They do the right thing because they're afraid of getting in trouble. So we have to create consequences for the serious problem of alienating children from a father or mother. I'm tired of men being bashed. We put men on the moon, for God's sake.
you.
Men are less often the primary physical parent who's a stay-at-home parent. Therefore, they couldn't, or they're not as good at it. I don't think that's even vaguely true. All the research shows that children have better outcomes when they have substantial, meaningful access to mothers and fathers.
What is the solution, David?
The solution is to inspire a generation of men to take responsibility, because at the end of the day, you can't have the government controlling everything. If you give consequences for the man leaving, then you give the government too much control. So it has to come with people speaking out and people being aware of this, that if you are a father of children, you need to know the value of what you have. That if you leave them and no longer take care of them and you don't raise them with morality, with standards, the next generation is screwed.
Yeah.
This can't be fixed, more than just bringing awareness to it, and inciting and inspiring men to have the passion to go out there and accomplish their dreams, but to also value family, to value that. So we're just playing a small part in this, but people need to start speaking out, and people need to be aware of this pandemic because it's horrible.
If you think of the movies from the 90s, early 2000s versus the movies that are out today,
it's crazy.
The cultural shift, because movies do play a giant role, TV shows, in actually pastoring this generation. Men were honored and revered in the 90s, in the early 2000s. Now in the late, 2024 we're in now, it's very rare, if ever, I see a movie that's actually glorifying the father figure.
So rare, dude.
So we need to attack these mountains and say, listen, the man is vital, he's important, he matters, and men respond to encouragement. They respond to it. But men, radical ownership.
Ownership.
Take ownership of your life. Take responsibility. Be a man of integrity, of a moral code by which you can live your life. And I believe that we can set the precedence and the standard. That's why we started this channel. We want to help men not just be better fathers, but be better husbands, be better leaders in their community, and stand up for what's right. If you do that, men will follow you. We need more fathers.
We need more fathers. Comment below, why do you think that fatherlessness is such a big problem today, or do you think it's not? We want to hear your thoughts. Don't forget to subscribe. Love you guys. See you on the next video.
Peace.
Peace.